Rolls-Royce Ghost. The Rolls-Royce Ghost is one of those cars that represents far more than transportation. It embodies a philosophy, a lifestyle, and a statement of prestige. When you hear the name Rolls-Royce, certain images immediately come to mind: grace, silence, opulence, and an attention to detail so precise that it borders on artistry. The Ghost sits in a fascinating position within the Rolls-Royce family. It is slightly more understated than its sibling, the Phantom, and yet it carries with it every ounce of the tradition, innovation, and magnificence that the brand has been known for over more than a century. The Ghost was designed for a new generation of Rolls-Royce owners, people who still value tradition but who also crave something slightly more contemporary, slightly more minimalistic in its expression, while still basking in ultimate luxury. And this car, in every possible sense, manages to merge the historic DNA of Rolls-Royce with the needs and desires of a modern driver. When we talk about the Ghost, it is not enough to simply describe its engine, its size, or its features. To do so would be to strip it of what it really represents. A Rolls-Royce is never just about numbers or raw performance figures. It is about creating an aura, an experience, something intangible that goes beyond horsepower and torque. And yet, even when you do look at the figures, you realize that the Ghost is every bit as formidable mechanically as it is elegant visually. At the heart of the Rolls-Royce Ghost lies a 6.75-liter twin-turbocharged V12 engine, an extraordinary piece of engineering that produces more than 560 horsepower, depending on the version. But these numbers, impressive as they are, tell only a fraction of the story. What truly matters is how the Ghost delivers its power, effortlessly, silently, without drama or fuss. This is not a car that screams for attention with loud exhausts or flamboyant revs. It whispers power in the most dignified way possible, providing acceleration that feels almost surreal in its smoothness. Press the accelerator, and the Ghost doesn't lunge forward aggressively. It glides, as if propelled by invisible forces, as if the road has bent itself to accommodate the car's momentum. Driving a Ghost is like stepping into an entirely different world. The moment you close the doors, which themselves close with an almost theatrical elegance at the push of a button, the outside world disappears. Noise, harshness, distractions, all vanish. What you are left with is serenity, a cocoon of luxury and calmness that is unmatched. The Ghost is a sanctuary on wheels. Rolls-Royce has mastered the art of creating interiors that feel more like lounges in a private jet or a grand residence than the inside of a car. Every material is chosen with painstaking precision. The wood veneers are not just cut from any tree, but from the most carefully selected sections, matched for grain so that the flow across panels feels natural and uninterrupted. The leather is not just high quality, it is hand-selected from hides that are free of blemishes, ensuring a perfection of texture and color. Every stitch is handcrafted, every piece of trim polished to perfection. It is not manufacturing, it is artistry. And then there is the technology, integrated in such a way that it never feels overwhelming. Rolls-Royce understands that their clients do not want to be bombarded with blinking screens and complicated menus. Instead, they want sophistication that operates in the background, ready when needed but never intrusive. The Ghost embodies this philosophy perfectly. From its crystal-clear infotainment system to the hidden umbrellas tucked inside the doors, every feature is designed to make life easier, smoother, and more enjoyable. Even the famed Starlight headliner, a masterpiece of modern luxury, turns the roof into a canvas of twinkling stars, hand-woven with hundreds of tiny fiber optic lights to mimic the night sky. It's not just a detail, it's a dream brought to life, a daily reminder to passengers that they are experiencing something beyond the ordinary. But the Ghost is more than just an indulgence in luxury. It also represents innovation and forward thinking. Rolls-Royce engineers worked tirelessly to ensure that the Ghost is not only powerful but also remarkably refined in its handling. The planar suspension system was developed specifically for this car, creating what they call a magic carpet ride. It uses advanced cameras that scan the road ahead and adjust the suspension in real time, smoothing out bumps before the car even reaches them. This means that the Ghost does not just react to the road, it anticipates it. The result is a driving experience that feels otherworldly, as though the car is floating above imperfections that would unsettle lesser vehicles. This blend of traditional craftsmanship with modern technology is what makes the Ghost such a masterpiece. The design philosophy of the Rolls-Royce Ghost is particularly fascinating. Unlike some luxury cars that shout their presence with aggressive lines or over-the-top flourishes, the Ghost takes a different approach. Its design is restrained, minimalist, almost zen-like in its simplicity, and yet it radiates power and authority. The famous Pantheon grille stands proudly at the front, topped with the Spirit of Ecstasy, the iconic figurine that has graced Rolls-Royce cars for generations. But everything about the Ghost's design has been refined, smoothed, and perfected to create a look that feels timeless rather than trendy. The proportions are flawless, the stance commanding but not intimidating, the overall shape one of elegance rather than aggression. This is a car that doesn't need to prove itself, its very existence is proof enough. What makes the Ghost even more special is the story it tells about the changing nature of luxury. In previous decades, luxury often meant extravagance, flamboyance, and excess. But today, true luxury is about discretion, about subtlety, about quality that speaks for itself without needing to scream. The Rolls-Royce Ghost captures this perfectly. It is designed for individuals who have nothing left to prove, people who do not need to broadcast their success but who simply wish to enjoy the finest things in life in peace and comfort. It is, in a sense, a car for connoisseurs, for those who understand that real power is quiet and real wealth is understated. When you sit behind the wheel of a Rolls-Royce Ghost, you are not just driving a car, you are experiencing a piece of history, a continuation of a legacy that stretches back to 1904. When Charles Rolls and Henry Royce came together to create what they called the best car in the world. That philosophy has never left the brand, and it is alive and well in the Ghost. Every element of this car, from the way the doors open to the way the cabin smells of fine leather and polished wood, has been crafted to create a sense of occasion. Owning a Ghost is not about practicality or necessity, it is about celebrating life itself, about indulging in beauty and comfort in a way that very few objects in the world can provide. To truly appreciate the Rolls-Royce Ghost, one must understand how it came into being. The Ghost was first introduced in 2009 as a more approachable sibling to the Phantom, a car that allowed the brand to appeal to a slightly broader audience while still retaining its exclusive aura. It was based on the philosophy of creating what Rolls-Royce called a post-opulent car, something that blended the grandeur of the Phantom with a more contemporary and minimalist approach. The name itself, Ghost, was chosen carefully. It is a spiritual successor to the Silver Ghost of 1907, the car that earned Rolls-Royce its legendary reputation for being the best car in the world. By invoking that name, Rolls-Royce reminded the world that this was more than just a new model, it was a continuation of a legacy, a reinterpretation of a historic icon for the modern age. From the very beginning, the Ghost was a triumph. It immediately appealed to a younger, more dynamic clientele, people who admired the Phantom but wanted something slightly less imposing, something they could drive themselves rather than be chauffeured in. The Ghost bridged the gap between tradition and modernity. It kept all of the craftsmanship and hand-built quality that Rolls-Royce was known for but wrapped it in a design that felt sleeker, more urban, and more approachable. It became a symbol of success for entrepreneurs, creatives, and innovators, individuals who wanted the finest car in the world but in a form that matched their own lifestyle. The engineering behind the Ghost reflects an obsession with perfection. Every detail, no matter how small, is considered. For example, the doors of the Ghost are not just ordinary doors, they are coach doors, also known as suicide doors, which open in the opposite direction of conventional doors. This creates a sense of drama every time you enter or exit the car. But more importantly, it is practical, allowing for a more graceful entry and exit, especially for rear passengers. And Rolls-Royce takes this concept further by adding a power closing function, so you never have to pull the door shut yourself. It is small touches like this that elevate the Ghost from a car to an experience. When it comes to performance, the Ghost is a fascinating study in contrasts. On paper, it is a powerhouse, capable of going from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just over 4 seconds, a staggering figure for a car of its size and weight. But on the road, it never feels like a sports car. Instead, it feels like a force of nature, moving with an effortlessness that defies logic. The V12 engine delivers power in such a linear, smooth fashion that you hardly notice the speed building until you glance at the speedometer and realize you are traveling far faster than you imagined. The Ghost does not thrill with theatrics, it astonishes with grace. And this, in many ways, is the purest expression of Rolls-Royce philosophy, power delivered with dignity. Inside the Ghost, time seems to slow down. The silence of the cabin is so profound that you begin to notice things you would never notice in another car. The gentle ticking of the clock on the dashboard, the faint hum of the air conditioning, the softness of the carpet beneath your feet. Rolls-Royce goes to extraordinary lengths to achieve this silence. The Ghost is packed with over 100 kilograms of soundproofing material, from double-glazed windows to acoustic insulation woven into the very fabric of the car. Engineers even went as far as to test different types of tires to eliminate road noise. And when they discovered that the cabin was almost too silent, so silent that it made passengers feel disoriented, they actually added a faint underlying sound, a subtle harmonic note from the engine, to create a sense of balance. This is the level of detail that goes into a Rolls-Royce. One cannot ignore the sense of theater that comes with owning a ghost. The spirit of ecstasy, for example, is not just a decorative emblem. It is a symbol, an icon that has been associated with Rolls-Royce for more than a century. On the Ghost, the spirit of ecstasy rises gracefully from the grille when you start the car and disappears back inside when parked, a small but powerful reminder that this is no ordinary automobile. The illuminated Pantheon grille is another modern touch that adds to the aura, glowing softly at night to create an unmistakable presence on the road. Every encounter with the Ghost feels like a performance, a carefully choreographed ballet of engineering and luxury. But what truly sets the Ghost apart is the way it makes people feel. For the driver, it is empowering yet calming. You feel in control, yet you also feel cared for, as if the car itself is looking after you. For passengers, it is pure indulgence, a sense of being transported in a bubble of comfort and refinement. And for those on the outside looking in, the Ghost is a symbol. It speaks without words, announcing success, taste, and refinement in a way that is impossible to ignore. In the world of luxury automobiles, there are many competitors. Brands like Bentley, Mercedes-Maybach, and Aston Martin all produce extraordinary vehicles. Yet, the Ghost holds a special place because it is not trying to compete, it exists in its own realm. Rolls-Royce has always operated at a level above mere competition, and the Ghost is a prime example of this. It does not concern itself with being faster than a Bentley or more technologically advanced than a Maybach. Instead, it focuses on creating an experience that is unmatched, an experience that no other car can replicate. This is why the Ghost is revered not just as a car but as a cultural statement. As the years have passed, the Ghost has continued to evolve. The latest generation, introduced in 2020, represents the most advanced Rolls-Royce ever built. It is based on the brand's proprietary architecture of luxury, an aluminum spaceframe that also underpins the Phantom and Cullinan. This new platform allowed engineers to create a car that is stiffer, lighter, and more refined than ever before. It also incorporates all-wheel drive and all-wheel steering, making the Ghost surprisingly agile for its size. This evolution ensures that the Ghost remains not only relevant but ahead of its time, a car that looks to the future while honoring the past. When you drive through a city in a Rolls-Royce Ghost, people notice. They may not rush to take pictures as they might with a flashy supercar, but the presence of a Ghost commands respect in a quieter, more dignified way. It is not about spectacle, it is about presence. It glides through traffic with the grace of a swan, its silhouette instantly recognizable yet never ostentatious. For many, seeing a Ghost on the road is a reminder that true luxury still exists in a world that often confuses it with mere extravagance. Great oncoming car sparkles. Let's continue with part 3 of your 10,000-word continuous speech on the Rolls-Royce Ghost. The Ghost is also deeply tied to the philosophy of its owners. Rolls-Royce has always attracted a clientele who view cars not as necessities but as extensions of their personalities, as reflections of their values, and as symbols of what they have achieved in life. The Ghost in particular has found resonance with those who admire subtle power. These are individuals who may have immense success but prefer to express it with refinement rather than excess. They do not need the imposing size of the Phantom or the adventurous stance of the Cullinan. Instead, they seek a car that blends perfectly into their lifestyle, a car that offers all the luxury in the world but does so with quiet confidence. The Ghost has become the vehicle of choice for such individuals, and in doing so, it has shaped an entirely new image of what modern luxury means. Customization is a cornerstone of Rolls-Royce ownership, and the Ghost offers almost limitless opportunities for personalization. Through the Rolls-Royce Bespoke program, owners can tailor every aspect of their car to their liking. No two Ghosts need ever be alike. Colors can be created to match anything from a favorite piece of art to the shade of a flower in the owner's garden. Interiors can be specified with rare materials, hand-embroidered details, or even personal insignias stitched into the leather. The level of individuality available is unparalleled. For many owners, this means their Ghost is not just a car, it is a one-of-one masterpiece, a rolling expression of their own identity. This is something few other brands can offer at such an intricate, artistic level. The Ghost is also notable for the way it balances tradition with modern technology. Rolls-Royce understands that its customers want the latest innovations, but they also want them presented in a way that feels timeless. For example, the Ghost's dashboard incorporates a digital display and advanced infotainment system, yet it is seamlessly blended into the design so that it does not overwhelm the aesthetic. Behind the wheel, you have access to modern driver assistance features like adaptive cruise control, lane departure warning, and night vision, but all of these are integrated quietly, ensuring the overall experience remains calm and uncluttered. In a world where many luxury cars are overloaded with screens and menus, the Ghost feels refreshingly elegant, prioritizing serenity over complexity. Another aspect that makes the Ghost so remarkable is its ride quality. The term, magic carpet ride, has been used to describe Rolls-Royce vehicles for decades, but in the Ghost, it feels truer than ever. Thanks to the planar suspension system, which uses both mechanical and electronic innovations to anticipate and absorb imperfections in the road, the Ghost glides with a smoothness that seems almost supernatural. Even on rough surfaces, passengers are barely aware of any disturbance. For the driver, this means less fatigue, more relaxation, and a sense of effortlessness no matter how long the journey. This level of comfort cannot be adequately captured in numbers or specifications, it must be experienced to be believed. And while comfort is paramount, the Ghost also offers remarkable agility. Rolls-Royce engineers have managed to make this large, heavy vehicle feel surprisingly nimble. The addition of all-wheel steering, for instance, allows the Ghost to maneuver with precision, reducing its turning radius and enhancing stability at higher speeds. This means that whether you are navigating narrow city streets or sweeping across an open highway, the Ghost feels composed, balanced, and remarkably easy to handle. It never feels cumbersome, which is a testament to the brilliance of its engineering. Symbolism is another powerful aspect of the Ghost. The name itself evokes a sense of mystery and elegance. A ghost is something ethereal, something that cannot be touched but is undeniably felt. This is exactly what the Ghost represents in the automotive world. It is not loud or aggressive, but its presence is undeniable. It moves with an almost spectral grace, commanding attention not by force but by aura. The spirit of ecstasy at the front further enhances this symbolism, acting as both a guardian and a beacon, a reminder that you are in the presence of something extraordinary. When discussing the Ghost, it is also important to consider the craftsmanship that goes into its creation. Each car takes months to build, with skilled artisans dedicating countless hours to perfecting even the smallest details. The woodwork, for example, is not simply cut and fitted, it is carefully shaped, polished, and matched to create a sense of flow. The leather is hand-stitched, the paint applied in multiple layers to achieve a depth of color that seems to glow in the sunlight. This dedication to craftsmanship ensures that every Ghost is not just a car but a piece of art, something to be admired and appreciated for generations. The Ghost also plays an important role in the broader identity of Rolls-Royce. While the Phantom remains the flagship, the Ghost has become the best-selling model, introducing the brand to a wider audience while maintaining its exclusivity. It has helped Rolls-Royce remain not just a historic mark but a relevant, modern one. The Ghost appeals to people who may have once considered other luxury brands but are drawn to Rolls-Royce because of the Ghost's unique blend of tradition and modernity. In this way, the Ghost has expanded the reach of Rolls-Royce without diluting its essence. What makes the Ghost so enduringly fascinating is its ability to inspire emotion. Thanks for watching.